Hello everybody, my name is Caro. In case you're new here, thank you for clicking on this video and checking out one of my art vlogs. I am a Peruvian visual artist. I usually paint with watercolors, and for the past almost 10 years I've been living in the United States, and I paint all things plants and fungi. And today I'm sharing with you a little bit about how life and art have looked in my studio these past few weeks. Lots of painting happening here, seasons changing, and working on taxes and doing all the things at the same time. Inviting you to give this video a thumbs up, to leave a comment. Also feel free to subscribe, which helps me boost my channel and keep doing this a lot more than you can imagine. And without further ado, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Getting back to painting has never felt so good. I am about to finish this painting and I have been enjoying my days fully devoted to painting, as it had been a really long time since I had days like these. These past few weeks I've been working on different pollinator animals. I painted the scarlet beetle, a milkweed bug, of course I had to include a bee, a jewel beetle, a Richmond birdwing butterfly, the metallic green beetle, the Saturniidae eocra moth, and lastly, the Peruvian Agrias beata butterfly. I paint all these because it helps me learn so much about nature. Painting also becomes a practice to remember, as I spend so much time with each species I work on. I am honestly in awe of how many beings exist on this planet, how many little beings it takes for one flower to bloom, for one animal to pollinate, etc. And I am very excited to see this painting coming to fruition soon, as it's been a really long time coming, and I am loving how colorful it has turned out to be. Hello everyone. Hello everybody. It is officially tax season, and actually this is the year that I am filing my taxes the latest so far. I still have 2 weeks, but that's so close to the deadline. With the back injury, I feel I just lost track of time, and that's why I'm doing taxes so late. But the good part though is that last year I was very organized with all the gains and expenses from my art. So yesterday was my first day working on my taxes. Today will be my second day and hopefully my last one. I think I'm already done with most of it. So today I'm filing everything with my accountant. It's a nerve-wracking moment because pretty much all my savings go into paying taxes and it's wild. So I'm doing that today, and I don't know, I just felt like sharing with you that it is very important for me for days like days of filing taxes to be extra loving to myself, to like treat myself even more and make my day a little bit more fun. So if you've been here for a minute, you may know how much I love my morning and nighttime routine. So coming out to nature for a little while, drinking a cup of cacao, and now that I've had this morning and I did my meditation, journaling, yoga in the morning, now I feel ready to conquer the taxes monster. So I also got myself these cashew chocolate delicious treats. So this sets me up in order to make it a little bit easier and funner for me to make things that I feel usually overwhelmed by, like taxes. So just sharing this in case you need a little inspiration for those things that are hard for you to make, to just treat yourself extra loving those days and becomes a little funner and easier to do. Let's go finish our taxes.
Estamos listos, chicos. Sí, papá, estamos listos. Taxes 2023.
I've officially finished gathering all my numbers for taxes from last year. I just made myself a golden milk, and now it's time to put in all those numbers into my accountant's system. But before that, I wanted to take a moment to say thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. Squarespace has been the virtual home of my website, art portfolio, email campaigns, member areas, online shop, and so much more since 2018, and honestly I cannot recommend it enough. Last year I finally finished to Squarespace 7.1, and thanks to their fluid engine it's been so easy and so much fun to be able to customize everything that I want about my website. I also love their award-winning templates, which help me make my website so beautiful. I don't need to know coding or anything like that in order to have a beautiful website with them. In case you are looking to start your first art portfolio, online shop, or anything in between, Squarespace and I are partnering up to offer you a 2-week free trial, and once you are ready to launch, you can use the code Caro Arevalo to get 10% of your first purchase of a website or domain with them. Lastly, I wanted to say that this is not looking blurry because the camera has a wrong setting, but because the sun is going straight into the camera, and I thought it looked so pretty, so I just left it like that. But anyhow, thank you so much Squarespace for sponsoring today's video, and now let's keep doing all things art blog. I also worked on the artwork for an upcoming personal project I am very excited about. It's a very small but mighty small business win. I worked on all these illustrations digitally on my iPad using the Procreate app, and after rearranging them all together with Photoshop, I had to turn them into vectors. I honestly don't know a lot about vectorized illustrations, and I just use YouTube tutorials as I go. I wanted to share with you that my new mailers have arrived. I ordered 500 of these mailers. It's my first time making custom mailers. It's a 12 by 14 inch, 100% recycled rigid mailer, and I ship most of my stuff here. I am so excited about this one, not only because it's my first custom mailer, but because these was printed with algae ink. So most of the ink out there is petroleum based, and if not, it's soy based. This one though is made out of algae, and algae ink is the most sustainable ink out there at the moment. This ink not only is carbon neutral, but it also sequesters carbon from the environment and a lot of other things that I don't recall from my head. But if you are an artist and want to start making any custom mailers, I have a whole video on sustainable packaging for online shops. I invite you to check that out. I also included in that video's description some links to algae ink and why it's the best thing out there. And I'm so happy with how they came out. I used the artwork of 3 different illustrations that I had already done, and I'm just very excited with how they came out. I also wanted to include this message, "We are one," which I feel is the message or the knowing that has changed my life the most, and I'm still every day trying to live by it a little more. I feel that nowadays, especially with all the turmoil in the world and all the division, the wars, and don't even get me started, but I feel this is my prayer for humanity. I feel that there's so much more aspects that we can learn. We are one. I am someone who's very in touch with her spirituality, and I pray every day, and in my prayer I always ask and envision the people in power, the governments from the biggest countries in the world, to really have those people remember their humanity, remember that we are all one, and remember that when we are hurting someone somewhere in the world, that is rippling in all of us, including Mother Earth and all its living beings. So I really wanted to share this because now it's out there, and then here's where I put the shipping label, and then this message can arrive to all the places where people put orders from my shop. And I think it's, a neighbor can see it, someone working at the post office can see it, and I think it's just something that I truly want to learn how to all the time live my life by. But it's these things that are the small business wins, just having a custom mailer for the first time, and things like these make me so happy. I will always remember the first time that I ever made my first thank you cards, not by hand, but actually order them from a space, or the first time that I did a postcard with my art and my website. And I think as a small business, all these tiny little things that may seem like whatever to someone else are so special for us. So I just wanted to celebrate and share this with you because it's been a long time coming. Today is Monday, which is like my Friday. I've been painting and I'll continue to paint today, and this painting is about the pollinators. It started just being about the pollinator animals, but then I realized if it's about pollination, we need to include flowers. And if I'm talking about pollination, I want to include polypore mushrooms, because these type of mushrooms are very beneficial to bees and to other pollinators. And long story short, it shifted from being a painting about pollinator animals about being a painting about pollination in general. And so far I've been working on the pollinator animals metamorphosis process, on including pollination. I've included a lot of butterflies, moths, beetles, and other insects. And now I'm in a crossroads because I've left a little space in the four corners because there's other animals besides our regular winged friends, especially insects that pollinate. So we are looking at some birds like hummingbirds. There's also geckos pollinator, possums pollinating, and bats pollinating. And just last week it was discovered that the Isaac Sox tree frog from Brazil also pollinates. So I am sure there's so much that we will keep learning in biology, but so far these are the ones that I want to include. And if you know my work a little bit, you might know that I am usually devoted to the plants and the fungi, and I feel very comfortable painting those. And it's been so new to work on these animals, the winged ones and the insects, but I am a little afraid to paint something like a bat, so this will be a very big challenge, but one that I am excited to get into. I still have a long way to get there though. Right now I still need to work on some of the butterflies and moths that I've already selected for the painting, and once I finish all of those I will get into the other animals, if I do, because I'm still doubting and in the fence if I should or I shouldn't. But this is a challenge that I want to take on, and honestly it just feels so good to be back at the studio after being bedbound for a couple of weeks, and then for another couple of weeks being back and forth in between feeling better and then going back to not feeling that good, and spending a little time in the studio, spending most of my day at bed until now, which I am feeling probably like 90% back to normal. Let's get to painting. I am just procrastinating here. Once I finish all the painting part on this one, I will go ahead and add all the black outline with my India ink reusable rotring pens. This is one of my favorite parts of the process, as it's the first time I will finish the whole painting to then get into the India ink part. I usually advance as I paint, but this time around I wanted to try something different. Once I am fully done with the outline, it will be time to get my painting scanned and get my first print proofs. I am excited about this one and also excited to finish, as I have a few other paintings which I started last year and have had in pause for a very long time. What excites me the most is not only the themes for my upcoming paintings, but also the fact that now I am 100% only using earth-based pigments for my artwork.
And overproduce, and that's the tragedy. Because I mean, I've seen so many people overproduce that it's about everything but about, and that happens a lot.
Absolutely, and now technology's changed, where when I first started, there was 24-track recording, so you couldn't have more than 24 tracks of music unless you had two big machines.
Exactly.
Which not a lot of people.
I would say I have learned to get some principles that I learned that you have to have as an artist, but not rules that I never learned rules, let's put it that way. And I think that liberates me a little bit.
It's amazing. It's amazing to see, and that's why I feel so
I just wanted to say thank you so much for tuning into today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any ideas or videos you want to see here on my channel in the future, please let me know. I love to listen to what you want and what you would feel beneficial seeing in my channel. Sending you a little bit of this beautiful sunny day, and until I see you next time, I hope you have a beautiful life and day. Bye. Inviting you once again to subscribe to this channel, or giving this video a thumbs up, or leaving a comment, which helped me more than you can imagine to keep the lights on in my studio. And I will see you some other time. Bye.